And yeah, action. So yeah, let's start. So today we have very good news. I'm super excited today, okay, because we have released the first version of Codeuzer. And this is a project that we've been working on like for the last 7 months or so. It came from an idea we had sometime before that, but then in November or October we decided to start working on a new thing. And the thing is that we had this idea for creating the best tool to create software in the world. Okay, but to create software without programming. Hi, Alvar, by the way. Um, so yeah, we had this idea. We wanted to let people develop apps with not apps without programming, but any type of software. Okay, so Codeuzer is not like all other app builders you know right now, like MovingCube, business apps, or others. Normally, those app builders are just a set of templates or functionalities that you can combine in order to create an app, right? Well, Codeuzer is a different concept. Codeuzer is a code builder. Okay, so with Codeuzer, what we really do is we create the code for different types of apps or softwares. Okay, so right now we are launching the first beta version of Codeuzer. It will allow you to create Android native apps, but they are going to be really advanced apps. Okay, and soon we will also provide iOS functionality. Then Codeuzer will let you create websites, React apps, but also PHP scripts and some other things for servers. I mean, it's not only for creating apps or interfaces, okay, but also for creating server-side software. Okay, we will try to do that. I mean, that will come in the future. Okay, so today we're starting with Android apps. So we released this first version today. Okay, and from today you can start working and creating apps for Android with Codeuzer. Okay, well, I have to say that there are small bugs today that will be fixed tomorrow. Okay, the thing is that since we had this webinar programmed for today, we wanted to release Codeuzer today. Okay, but there were still some small little details that needed to be fixed. Okay, so they will be fixed tomorrow. Okay, but anyhow, you can start working on it. Okay, so well, here is the website. Okay, very simple. You can go and create your account after the webinar or tomorrow. Okay, and the thing is that I'm not sure if you already know. I know some of you know Castod.io. Okay, um, it's another product that belongs to Dojo, Doyo. And Dojo is one of my new projects. I started this project with my co-founders. No, MovingCube is not dead. Okay, this has nothing to do with MovingCube. Okay, the thing is that I'm the co-founder of MovingCube. Okay, but last year in November, some other company bought MovingCube. Okay, and I had this deal with them, so I'm still working for MovingCube. I will still help them because they needed to know how to remain there. Okay, so I will be working with MovingCube. Okay, but it's not my company anymore. So I decided to create this other company some time ago, and with the idea of creating a set of tools to help small companies and startups to exist online. Okay, so we launched Dixiebox like 1 year or more ago. It's not finished, but almost. And then we launched Castod.io in October last year or September. And Castod.io is like a place on internet where you can store digital files. Okay, it's some kind of Drive or Dropbox. Okay, simple, but it's almost the same. I mean, in terms of storing files. Okay, then we are going to launch another tool that is going to be like WeTransfer, something similar. Then we will try to build a newsletter managing tool so that companies can send newsletter to customers. Okay, and then our rockstar product is Codeuzer, okay, which is going to be the tool for creating software. Yeah, so all these products will belong to the Dojo brand. Okay, so the idea is that you will only have one account for all the products. Okay, so whenever you register on Casto.io or Codeuzer, you are really registering on Dojo. Okay, so then with the same account, you will be able to switch products, go from one product to another. Okay, and we will try to integrate all of them so that if you store files on Casto.io, you will have those files available on Codeuzer or other tools, right? So, well, that's the idea. Okay, so today we're launching this super product, Codeuzer. So the thing is that if you already have a Casto.io account, now you have to create an account here on Codeuzer. Okay, the thing is that we still have not integrated all the users from all the products. Okay, so if you have already an account on Casto.io and you sign up on Codeuzer, please use the same email so that it will be easy. Next month we will put all the users together. Okay, so it will be easier if you use the same email address. Okay, so, well, you can use a different email address. Then in the future, we will try to fix those things, okay, and put the thing together if you ask us, okay. But if you create an account, please use the same email address that you use for Casto.io. Okay, so, well, I'm going to sign in. I already have an account. Okay, and basically this is it. Okay, we have tried to make it very, very simple, and I'll explain why. Okay, the thing is that I don't know what's happening. Okay, yeah. The thing is that we don't want to have a lot of options, like setting all the software properties like advertisement or payment methods and everything in menus. We want to let you configure everything inside the project, and you will see in a moment. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm not sharing. Sorry, let me share my screen. Yeah, I'm sharing a PowerPoint. Let me share this screen. Let me log out. Sorry for that. Okay, so this is the website. Okay, I guess you can see it now. Okay, it's very simple, but you can create an account. You can just use the Casto.io thing. Okay, if you know Casto.io, this screen will look familiar. Okay, in fact, if you see here, we are using Dojo. Okay, in the past we called it Broccoli, maybe you remember. Okay, but now it's called Dojo for do your own tech, do your own app, do your own website, do your own thing, right? Okay, so yeah, the thing is that all the products from Dojo, we are going to try to use similar interfaces. Okay, so if you get familiar with one product, then you will know how to use another product from Dojo. Okay. So yeah, basically this is the interface. It's very clean. A few options on the top. I will explain them later. Okay, and then we have this sidebar on the left, which is very similar to the one on Casto.io, right? We have here the logo of the product that we are using right now. Okay, this is for Codeuzer. I'm not sure if you can guess what this means. Let's see from Co and User, but yeah, maybe for people above 40, this icon might be a bit familiar, and even the name. Then we have here some options for this product, for Codeuzer. Okay, this is for creating a new project, and here we can see all our projects. Okay, and then here on the bottom we have some options that are common for our Dojo account. From here we can access our account. We have some settings and notifications. Okay, and then here on the white area we have all the things for Codeuzer. Okay, and we will see it later. Okay, but before this, I'm not sure if how technical or how techy you are. But well, I didn't explain. I guess you already know MovieCube or other app builders. Okay, normally all those app builders can be used by people who know nothing about computers. Well, not nothing, of course, but people who don't really know about programming and things like that, right? So Codeuzer is a tool for also for non-programmers to create software. But the thing is that, I mean, you are going to be able to create much more advanced apps and software than with all those app builders. But since it's more advanced, it will also be a bit more complicated or a bit more complex to use or to understand. Okay, so that's why people might need to attend some webinars and things like that. Okay, or read tutorials or videos, things. Okay, so it's not programming, but it will be needed to try to think like a programmer. Okay, and that's a very different thing comparing to other app builders. Okay, so it's not that easy. You have to make some effort to try to put yourself inside the skin of a programmer. Okay, but still you won't need to program. Okay, there's no coding here on Codeuzer, but the thing is that it's going to be more advanced because you are going to decide, or you are going to tell the app to do something if something happens, for example. So you are going to need to do some logic. Okay, and we will see that. So it's also going to be very useful even for programmers. I mean, web developers and other developers, software developers, will find Codeuzer also useful, okay, because it will save them a lot of time. Okay, with Codeuzer, they will be able to create software faster than with programming. Okay, so well, are you tech people, or because I had prepared some introduction for explaining some terms, so they will make easier if you understand those terms. It will be easier to explain the rest. So the thing is, okay, I'm going to explain them. I'll try to not be very slow, but if you want me to repeat things or whatever, just let me know and I will try to explain. Because we had this Spanish webinar this afternoon, and it took me a lot of time to explain that because I did it very slow. I will try to make it faster right now. Okay, but if you feel that you want me to stop and explain it slower, just let me know, okay? Okay, so yeah, I'll try to do it slow. You see the presentation right now, right? Okay, I guess it will be then. You will find Codeuzer very cool, Sonny. You will see. So can you see my presentation now instead of my screen? Yes. Okay. Okay, perfect. Then I will try not to be very slow with this. Okay, the thing is that I want to explain some vocabulary that we're going to use on Codeuzer, okay? Because I want this vocabulary to be clear for you because we're going to use it a lot. Okay, so the first thing, this is very easy. It's a resource. So a resource basically is a file that contains something like images, audios, PDF files, things like that. Okay, that's a resource or a file. Okay, we are going to use resources on Codeuzer, obviously. Okay, but then we have the components. So a component is something that takes a resource and shows it on the screen. And also, well, it loads the resource and it manages the resource, and basically it puts the resource on the screen. But not only that, but components are also used for creating or interacting with the user. For example, a switch button it's a component, or a button is a component, or a slider, okay, or a text field, that's also a component. It will let people to write something, okay, so to interact with the user. Okay, this is also easy, I guess, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time explaining what a component is, okay, but the thing is that we have to understand that it's different. An image resource is the file, and an image component is the entity that controls that file, okay, and loads that file, is in charge of loading that file and putting it on the screen, okay, that's a component. Okay, then we have views. I mean, this is going to get more complicated slide after slide, okay? So if you need me to go slower at some point, just let me know. Okay, so a view is a group of components. That components will show images, text, things like that. Okay, so a view is a group of components which together represent the main content on the screen. Okay, so if you put a menu on the screen, or like a about screen with information, things like that, okay, that's a view. Okay, we could have called it pages, things like that. Okay, but basically a view is like a page. So it's a group of components. Okay, the thing is that in one screen we can have several views, and we can alternate those views. I guess if you know apps like WhatsApp, well, I know you know WhatsApp, of course. Okay, if you go to the main screen of WhatsApp, there are 3 views, right? It's the chat list, the contact list, I think, and the calls list. Okay, there are 3 views. Those are the views, and there's a tab bar where you can change, or you can swipe to the right or to the left, okay, and you can switch screens. You can switch views, but you are always on the same screen or on the same section of the app, right? Okay, this one's easy, but now it's going to get complicated. We have the wrappers, the view wrappers. Okay, I'm not sure if I will be able to explain this, but a wrapper is like a layer on the top of a view. Okay, a wrapper is what controls the view, or what contains the view. A wrapper can contain one or several views. Okay, so, and also a wrapper can define some elements. Okay, so if you want to use a toolbar or an icon bar on your app on the top, or if you want to use a side menu, you know, these menus that come from the left and appear on the screen. Okay, if you want to define those, you define those inside the wrappers. Yeah, they are also like layouts. We had a lot of trouble deciding the name for the wrappers. Okay, they are like layouts. If you want to use some page with a top bar and a side menu, that's a layout. That's how the main look of your screen. Okay, so okay, yeah, if you understand the wrapper, then I won't spend time. Okay, the thing is that you can define different wrappers on your app. Okay, and for each one, you can define the layout for that screen. Okay, and then if you create a view, you will tell the view which wrapper to use for that view. Okay, and also if you define a wrapper, you can add some pager, so you can have several views on the same wrapper. Okay, for creating like tab layouts, things like that. Okay. I guess it will get easier as soon as we start working on it. Okay. Yeah, then we have dialogues, which these are easy. These are like very similar to views, okay, but they are small views that pop up on the screen on a white window. They can have components, and they can have action buttons like cancel, accept, things like that. Okay, this is easy. Then we have menus. Okay, but menus, when I say menus, I'm not talking about how to display some options on the screen. Okay, on Codeuzer, a menu is just a definition of a list of options. Okay, so basically when we create a menu, we are not creating the way it looks, or we are not defining the way it looks. We are just defining the list of labels, icons, and actions. Okay, that's all. And then for representing that menu on the screen, we will use components. Okay, we will create a list component, for example, and we will tell that list to get the content from a menu file. Okay, or we can use, I mean, if we create in our wrapper, if we create a side menu layout, then we will tell that wrapper to use some menu file. Okay, and then it will take all the options, and the wrapper will be in charge of representing that menu on the screen. Okay. Okay, then we have functions. Well, functions are one of the key things for Codeuzer. Okay, functions are the things that are going to empower our app. Okay, so basically functions are instructions that we give to the app so it behaves as we expect to. Okay, so they are like behaviors or commands that we give to the app, like go to a different screen, or pop up some dialog, or set some value on this database, or get this from the database. Okay, or play some audio file, things like that. Those are functions. Okay, and the great thing of Codeuzer is that we can, when we define a function, we can use only one function, or we can set a sequence of functions. Okay, so they can all be executed one after another. Okay, so this is the point where we are going to program without programming. Okay, we are going to use functions. Okay, so this is the point where we are going to start thinking like a programmer, but without programming. Okay, by using functions and also some other things that we will see later. Then we have events. So basically, events are things that happen while the app is running. Okay, for example, if the user taps on some component, if the user changes some text, if the app starts, or if one view is loaded. Okay, these are things that happen. Okay, and the things that we can tell the app what to do if those things happen. Not all of those, but if we want the app to react to some events, then we can create functions to react to those events. Okay. Then we have conditions. Well, basically, those are used to decide if we want to show something on the screen, or if we want to do something or do some function. Okay, so conditions are basically that. Okay, for example, we can tell the app to go to a different view, but only if the user is more than 18 years old, for example. Those are conditions. Okay, we are going to tell the app to do something only if something happens or something is set to some value. Okay, things like that. Okay, with functions and conditions, it's like thinking like a programmer. Okay, but still without programming, you'll see. And this is also very important, the references or variables. Okay, so combining all of these references, functions, and conditions, we are going to add a lot of power to our app. Okay, so this is going to make Codeuzer very different from any other app builder that you know. Okay, because you are going to be able to give life to your app. Okay, so basically references are some identifiers that's, well, they are small text that start with a ad, and then they have an identifier that identifies a virtual place that stores data. When I say virtual place, I mean like a database or a file or a cookie or some temporary variable, things like that. Okay, so using references, we will be able to access data, sometimes only to read data, and some other times to also to write data on those virtual places. Okay, with using references, we will be able to read or write from a database. We will be able to read or write from Firebase. We will be able to put some value on the memory and then use it later on the app, things like that. Okay. Okay, and how we write those references. Okay, they always start with the @ symbol. Then we say the type of reference. And then optionally, we can set a subtype. Okay, for example, I mean, we will see this in next webinars, how to use them. Okay, but for example, we could have Firebase dot Firestore, which is the databases from Firebase, dot, then the route for some node on the database, then the name, things like that. Okay, or we can, I mean, we have these 6 types. We have properties which are temporary data storage in memory. Okay, if we want to save some value to use it later in the app, okay, we can use a property, and properties will be removed as soon as we close the app. Okay, then we have cookies, which are similar, but they will keep the value next time we open the app. Then we can access elements, which are components. Okay, so we can get properties from components. Okay, we can get, or we can set the color of a text, or we can set the alpha transparency from a text or from an image, things like that. We can set things to components and get things from components in real time. Okay, then we can access, or we can read information from the app or the device. Okay, for example, if we want to know the GPS location of the user, we can access through this reference at app.location, for example. Okay, yeah, I will give you a list of all the possible values in next webinars. Okay, then we can access databases to read and add. I mean, with Codeuzer, we support now, we support JSON databases and CSV databases. I mean, we will be adding more compatibility with other types. Okay, the thing is that with JSON databases, we are using document-oriented databases. I guess you know what that means. Okay, if you are familiar with Firebase. Okay, but basically we can use complex databases. Okay, not only just a table like in the CSV file, but also like nested databases. So one file, I mean, one entry in the database can have a small database inside, and that database can have more databases inside. Okay, so it can get very complex. Okay, and that's supported by Codeuzer. Okay, and then we have Firebase to use like authentication from Firebase. We can use databases. We can use storage. And we will be adding more features. We can use analytics, things like that. Okay. So, well, how do we create a project or an app on Codeuzer? Well, it's a project is defined by files. We use JSON files, and then folders and resources. We put all that together, and that defines the interface and the behavior of the app. Okay, so we take all of that, and then our core, the Codeuzer core, generates the source code for your app. Okay, at this point, it generates the source code for an Android app. Okay, in the future, in next month, in a few months, it will also generate a Xcode project for iOS, and also a React app for websites and some other things. Okay, the thing is, I'm not sure if I told you, but Codeuzer generates source code. Okay, it's a source code generator. Okay, it's not like all other app builders that only combine functionalities and give you an app, but Codeuzer generates source code. Okay, in the future, you will be able to download the Android Studio source code for your app, take it and open with Android Studio and start adding more functionalities and things like that. Okay. I guess you know, since, well, now we are only two, Sonny and Alvar. Um, you said that you have some tech background, so I guess you know what a JSON file is, right? Yes. Okay. Then I won't explain what a JSON file is. Okay, I will skip this part. Okay, basically it's a plain TXT file with some structure. Okay. So I'm not going to explain this. So now I'm going to move to Codeuzer. Okay. And let the show begin. Sharing switch screen, sharing on. Resume screen. Okay, can you see my screen now? Yes, okay. So, well, I'm here. This is a new account, so I don't have any project right now. Okay, and one of the cool things of Codeuzer is that everything works offline. Okay, so you can start. I mean, you will realize of that. I mean, everything is going to be super smooth and super fast. Whenever you do some change, it's going to be immediately. It's not like on the app builders, which are web-based, and every change you do in MovingCube, for example, it's going to be sent to the server, and the website will need to get an answer from the server, and I mean, everything can get us a bit slow sometimes, right? So with Codeuzer, we are going to work offline. Okay, in the future, in the next months, we will integrate it with Castor.io so that all your changes will be stored on Castor.io. Okay, but still everything will work offline. Okay, we will just send changes and the server will take them. Okay, but everything will work offline. Okay, so we're using the database. I mean, Chrome. Every Chrome session has a database. Okay, so everything is stored in that database. Okay, so basically we're using files. Everything is defined using JSON files, and then we have images and resources, right? So everything is stored there. So if you open the next Chrome session tomorrow, you will have all your projects there. Okay, but of course, if you log in using a different Chrome session, or if you go to a different computer and if you log in Codeuzer with your account, you won't see your projects. Okay, so the thing is that I would recommend, and we have this option here on the top right, we have the save option. Okay, so if we have a project and we click on save, we will save the project into our computer. Okay, it will download the project. Okay, so even if we keep everything in the memory of Chrome, I will recommend to always save and get the file. Okay, so you can switch to a different computer and things like that. Okay, in the future, it will be saved on Castor.io, but now you can save it in your computer. Okay, we're using this CD set extension. Okay, and you'll see later. Okay, but now I'm going to create my first project. So, well, since it's empty, now you have these options. You can open a project from your computer if you have the CDC file, okay, or you can start a project from scratch. I'm going to click this, okay, and see. I got a lot of things here. So basically, this is my file tree. Here is where I have all the files. I told you that the project is a set of JSON files and resources and folders, okay? So all my project is defined here on the left, okay? And then I have this white area, which shows me wherever I have selected here on the file tree, okay? Here I can see the file. Now I have this file selected, which is the app file. Okay, so I have here a JSON file. I mean, you cannot modify all the, I mean, you cannot modify this JSON file like in a TXT file, because we wanted to make it easier. If you know JSON, you know that if you miss some quote or some brackets, then everything can get very messy. Okay, so we have this assistant for editing the JSON files. Okay, so this file here, the app file, is the one that defines the main things related to your app. Okay, like the ID, I wouldn't change this. I mean, in the future, we will make sure that these are uniques and we won't let you change this. Okay, but I mean, we are just putting some random value here. Okay, but here we have the project name, which is some name for you to identify your project. Okay, this can be like my test app, for example. Okay, then we have the name of the app. Okay, this is different than the project name. Okay, the project name is just a small text. I shouldn't use spaces or special characters here, but then we have the name, which is the name that we are going to show to our users. Okay, and this is very interesting for Codeuzer. Whenever you can put a text that is going to be shown on the app, on the final app, you can just put a text here like hello users, or for example, my first, I mean, project name shouldn't be nice. I mean, the text, okay, it's just a name for you, but the name must be like nice with capital letters and things like that. Okay, so my first app. Okay, so I just created a default text for the name, but since this is a text that is going to be shown to the user, you see this button. So if you click here, you are going to be able, you see it transformed, it put brackets here and this, so you can spread this. Okay, so now we are going to be able to use multi-language. Okay, so now we have the default text, which is the one that will be shown to the user if we don't have a text for the language of the user. Okay, then we can add translations for that text. We can click here and select one language. Well, now I don't know why it only shows that, but you can put here any ISO language. You can say IT or ES for Spanish, for example, then write here something in Spanish. Okay, so in the example of an Android app, if the user has the font set in English or in any other language different than Spanish, it will show the English text. Okay, and if the user has the font set in Spanish, then it will show this title for the app. Okay, so that's going to happen on text components and other places. Okay, you can use multi-language. Okay, which is something cool. Okay, then we have this Android thing, which is for setting some Android specific properties of the app. Okay, like the package name. Here we can write, this is, I guess you know what this is, okay, but this is a unique worldwide identifier for our app. Okay, so we can set here like Codeuzer dot my first app. Okay, and from here you can set the version. Okay, if we generate the APK file, the Android app for our project, it will have the version we set here. Okay, you know, every time you publish your app on Google Play, you have to increase this. Okay, we are not going to do this automatically. We want to give you the freedom to set the number you want. Okay, and also this is the version name, which is the one that will show on Google Play. Okay, then these are like the mandatory properties for this JSON object for Android. Okay, but here, whenever you are inside a JSON object, you see these brackets, this is a JSON object. If you see this plus button, you will be able to add some optional properties, like the certificate. If you want to sign your apps using your own certificate, you can use this. If not, we will sign it using a standard certificate. Okay, you can remove, if you add some property and you want to remove it, okay, since this property is also a JSON object, you can just click here and it will be removed. Okay, or if you are going to use maps on your app, then you can add here the Maps API key. You go to Google, you get your API, and you put it here. Okay, or if you're going to use Firebase, you can also define it here with Android. Okay. Okay. What else? Then we have events. Events that happen on the app, but in the global part of the app as an entity, okay? Not in other parts of the app, but in the app. But basically here we have the on start. I mean, you can see this plus button, but don't trust this, okay? We have to change some small details, okay? So now you can see a lot of events here, but the only event that now works for apps is this on start, okay? So whenever the app starts, this function will be executed, okay? But this function, you see, this is an array. This is a list of functions, okay? So if we spread this, here we can see all the functions. By default, if you create one empty or a project from scratch, okay, we will set this event, the onStart event, with this function, okay? And we also set some views and some things in the default project, okay? So we set this action by default. You can remove it, or you can change the destination for this function, okay? I will explain functions later, okay? Or, well, no, let's explain them now. Okay, so basically a function is a JSON object, like this one, that has this function key, and then it has a value for this key. It has the type of function we want to execute, okay? And this is the list we have. We have the abort action or function, which is in case you are putting some sequence of functions, if at some point it sees the function abort, it will stop executing the next functions, okay? And this might not make sense, right? Yeah, basically it's that, okay? So this is the point of start of your app. Okay, the thing is that now you see, but in my default project, I have this on start, and I'm telling to go to view main, okay? But I can remove this. I can create apps with Codeuzer that don't display anything on the screen, okay? I could create one app that only when the user clicks to open it, it could just connect to a database and save some data on the database, okay? And then close the app without showing anything, right? But in the default project, we are creating this main view, and we will tell the app to go to that view, okay? But we can add more functions here, okay? Now we have, so whenever you have an array, okay, I have an array, this is an array, this red thing, with some objects inside. Every object is a function, okay? They will be executed one after another, okay? So whenever you have an array, you have this is a real object, and then you have like a phantom object here with a plus button. So if you click here, then you will add an object to the array, okay? So I'm adding a function right now. Okay, so I could add this abort. Well, the abort function shouldn't show this. Okay, we need to fix the functions tomorrow because we are using a JSON schema here to control everything. So it seems there's a small thing here. It will be fixed tomorrow. Okay, but some functions don't have parameters. Now it's showing destination parameter, but the abort shouldn't show this. Okay, but then I can have this function like go to and then another view. Okay, so this function is not going to be executed because I have this abort function. Okay, does it make sense for you? Okay, so remember that I told you that we have conditions. Okay, so here in this function, I can click here for adding an additional thing or an optional thing. I can add this condition if. So if a reference like cookie dot age, for example, is equal or is higher than 18, for example, okay? Or no, or it's less than 18, okay? So in this case, what I'm doing is, okay, do something here, maybe not go to, maybe we could add some play a sound, for example, for starting the app, play a sound, okay? And then close the app or abort this sequence if the user is less than 18, for example. Okay, so if it's not less than 18, then this function won't be done. Okay, so it won't abort. So the next function will be executed. Okay, does it make sense? Yes, yes. Every place you put a sequence of functions, they will be executed one after another. Once one is finished, then the next one will be executed. Okay, so that's a sequence, and you can stop that sequence at any point with a condition. Okay. So, oh, by the way, I think we lost Alvar. Maybe it was a bit long, this. Okay, so now it's only you and me, Sonny. So if you want me to go fast, well, now we have Kiketo is back. Okay, so yeah, so you missed some things. Okay, Kiketo, but Chiketo, sorry. But I'm recording, so I will put the video on YouTube so you don't miss a thing. Okay. So we were talking about events. Okay, so when you define an event, here you can set a list of functions. Okay, yeah, you lost some important things. I don't remember when we stopped watching you. Okay, but don't worry. I mean, if you have questions, you can always ask. Okay. So well, here we have the list of functions. They can be played one after another. So let me explain all the functions. We have abort that I explained. We have add, which is for adding some entry in a database, okay, for adding something in the database. We have the back function, which is for going to the previous view or for exiting something, okay? If we are watching a dialogue on the screen, we can close the dialogue with the back action, okay? Or we have the browser function, which will open the internet browser of the phone and load some specific URL. Okay, then we have the delete, which is for deleting an entry in a database. Okay, then we have divide, which is for making the division calculation. Okay, we have some value like in a cookie or a property, we can divide it by whatever. Then we have the finish action, which I won't explain right now because we have to make it more clear. It's a bit complicated, but forget it. Then we have the go to, okay, which is for going to a different view. Hi, Orlando. We have a new user here. Hi. Well, it got some complicated, okay, but then we're recording the video, Orlando, so it will be published on YouTube. But if you have questions, I can repeat some things, okay? So we have this go to, which is for going to a different view, okay? And at this point, I want to make some clarification. This is for changing the view, okay? You click here and go to, then you have to select the view. Okay, the thing is that views are contained inside wrappers, right? So the thing is that the wrapper is the main thing on the screen. Okay, so if I go from one view to a different view, from view 1 to view 2, okay, if those views use the same wrapper, then I will stay inside that wrapper, okay? I won't switch wrappers, okay? But if I go from view 1 to view 2, and the view 2 is using a different wrapper, then it will switch wrappers. So that will be like going from one section of the app to another one, okay? You will see that in the real app, I guess. Okay, so normally when editing things, at some parts you will need to write, but there are other places where you cannot write here and you can just pick from a list of options, okay? What else? Then we have increase, which is for adding some value. If we have a property with value 2, we can increase by 1, for example. Okay, then with this we can make counters, things like that. Then we have the function login. Okay. Well, I guess you know, if you're using MovingQ, there's a login screen with an add-on in the new interface. Okay, that's normally if some other app builders have a login screen, it's already a screen that you can change colors, things like that. But here on Codeuser, the login goes using actions or functions. Okay, so you can have your own design on the screen, and then you can place a button and say log in using Firebase. And also functions, and they are not here today. They will be, I guess, tomorrow or next week. But we can also have events for functions, for some function. Okay, so if we use the login function, then some things can happen. For example, if the user enter a wrong password, and then the server will respond, then the app will create an event, wrong password event. Okay, for example, and we can add functions to react to those events. Okay, so we can add functions inside functions. Okay, so if the user was logged successfully, then do this, like go to this view. Okay, but if the user was not logged successfully, then do this other thing. Okay, we can add this. So you see that this is getting a bit complex, I know, but this is the power of Codeuser. Okay, I mean, we are not programming, we are just adding objects, right? Like blocks, adding blocks. So it's like some way to program without programming. Okay, then we have the logout, which is the opposite. We have the multiply to make the calculation, the not, that's nothing. Open, which opens a database with some filters or some conditions. Okay, then we have play for playing a sound. We have pop-up for displaying a dialogue. We have reduce to reduce value from reference. We have refresh for refreshing the screen. We have set. This is very important function. This is one of the functions that you are going to use most. This is for setting the value of some reference. If we want to keep some value in memory, you can use set. If you want to change the value inside a database, you are going to use set. If you want to change the color of some text in real time, you are going to use set. Okay, this is going to be very important. Yeah, normally you see that the parameters change. Not all the parameters from all the functions are working, but some of them are. So if you click function set, then here you said what you want to set. For example, cookie dot h, and the value you can put 3. Okay, for example, but you can do also things like this. Value property.h, for example. So this way, you are storing inside the cookie.h the same value that the property h has. Okay, we will do a webinar for explaining this with more detail and making more complex things. Okay, but I just wanted you to feel the power of this. Okay, then we have sign up, which is also for creating accounts, and stop for stopping a sound. Okay, well, now we have these functions. Okay, during the next weeks we will keep adding more functions. Okay, but with this list of functions you can do a lot of things. You'll see that. Okay, so these are the events. Then we have some colors here. We can add colors to our table of colors. Well, the plus button is not here today. It should be here. I guess it will be tomorrow. Okay, but you can add more buttons to your map of colors. Okay, in case you want to use them in parts of the app. Okay, well, you can use colors from here, or you can define the RGB code of the color whenever you want to use it. You'll see that later. Okay. So, well, these are the mandatory things, but we can add some optional things also to the app. We can add fonts. If we want to use TTF fonts, we can use ad mob configuration if we want to monetize with ads. We can add in-app purchases, or we can add databases. Okay, I'm not going to do this today, but you can use all of these things. Okay, these are optional. Okay, so this is for app. Okay, what else do we have here? Well, we have the resources. This is where we are going to upload all our files. Okay, by default, we have this icon subfolder with this icon. Okay, but here you can drag and drop all the icons you want from your computer. You can use different icons for Android and for iOS and things like that. And for doing that, you just need to change the name. If you use like Android underscore icon.png, that will be for Android. If you don't put anything, you just put icon.png. This is for all the platforms by default. And if you use like icon underscore 96, okay, that will be used for all these versions of the app that need a 96 pixels icon, things like that. Okay, I will also send tutorials of this. Okay, I don't want to spend a lot of time in every part today. Then you can just drag and drop files here. For example, if I'm here on res, you can click here. This will add our resource. Okay, by default, well, this was the name of my project. It should have changed, but it's not. Anyway, /res, which is the folder, and I can just drag and drop a file. Let me do it. Let me find some images. A moment. I think I have some pictures. Yeah, I can just drag and drop, for example, this file. Okay, and now I have my file here under res. So if I click here, I will see my file here. Okay, or I can just drop it here. So if I drop it here, it will put it under res folder. Okay, now it's here. You see? So what if I want to add subfolders? Okay, if you have a lot of files, it's always better to use some more extra folders. So I can click here on res and put here the name of a new subfolder, like icons. No, not icon, because I have the icon one. Like photos, for example. Okay, and then just drop a file here, like this photo. Okay, so it created this folder. Now I have my photo here. Okay. Then if I want to remove a file, just click on this trash here and it will be removed. Okay, if you want to they will be, I mean, from tomorrow, I guess we will also put a default folder for fonts. Okay, fonts should be inside a font folder. But I don't know why it's not here today, but anyway. So this is the way we can upload files. So now we can use these files in other parts. Okay, now let's go and create some view. Well, not create, but we have this main view created by default when you create a new project. Normally, you will see as soon as you start trying, it's going to be super fast. Okay, but I am having a problem whenever I'm broadcasting using Big Marker. My computer gets really slow. Okay, even if I go to Google and start doing things, it gets very slow. But this is going to be immediate. Okay, any change, it's going to be immediate for you. You will see that. Okay, so now I'm editing a view. Okay, and a view is also a JSON file. Okay, I have my view here. This is a small representation, only for showing how it will look like. Okay, I cannot interact with this. Okay, it's only for showing me how the app will look like. Okay, and this is surprisingly very similar to the real app. Okay, I can show you later. Then I have some properties for my app. You see, I have an ID, and IDs must be unique. Okay, we're not going to control that. You have to make sure that you don't use the same ID in two different views or in different components. Okay, every object should be a unique ID. Okay, then we have here, this is also mandatory, we have to tell which wrapper is my view going to use. Okay, now I only, in this default project, I have two. I don't know why this full screen one is here. Okay, I should only have this. Okay, I have this main wrapper. So in my main view, I'm using this wrapper. Okay, if you see, there's a link icon here. So if I click here, then I will go to that file. I'm now in the wrapper, so I can edit the wrapper. Okay. Okay, so then I have the title. Okay, and again, a title is something that the user is going to see. So it's going to let me put a multi-language. By default, I have this name, main view, but I can add more languages. Just click here and add as many languages as you want. Okay, and the title is going to be shown in this action bar only if my wrapper has an action bar. Okay, I will explain that later. Then I have the content, and here is where I'm going to put all the components for my view. Okay, this is an array, you see the brackets, and then here I can add as many components as I want. Okay, components are also JSON objects, so I can click here to add a component. And now I'm going to decide, oh, this is crazy slow, my computer today. But you'll see, this is going to be, just click and see the list. It's going to be super fast. Okay. Well, I have here a list of components that I can add. I clicked on add, and now I have to select which type of component I'm using. Okay, I can use an image. And next thing, I will have to select which image I want to use. Okay, for example, this one. Okay, so I have the image here. Now I can add some extra properties, the optional ones. Okay, some properties are going to be, or are going to exist always, regardless the type of component I'm using, like the width. This is for setting the size. Okay, and then I can use wrap, which is going to make it fit the resource. Fill, which is going to try to stretch the component to fit the screen or fit the container, or we can add a percentage. Okay, or we can, well, in case you are using a percentage, you can just change it here if you remove it, and you can just place a number, which is going to be for density points. You can set here like 26. Okay, and this is 26 density points. Okay, same for height. Okay, let me make it bigger, like 300. And you can also set the height. By default, it's the wrap, so it will be proportional to the file. Okay, but you can use here like number as well. This is something not working in the interface, but it will work in the app. Okay, no, it's adding the 10%. Now this is something I have to tell the programmer. It's not working properly, but yeah, but in the app it will work. Okay. Then we have some other parameters like margins. You can add margins to some other components. You can add events. And this is interesting as well. This is for interacting with the app. So basically you have, for a component, you can use the on-click event. Okay, so we can define what the app should do if someone taps on this image. Okay, now we only have the on-click, but we will have the long press and some other events. Okay. Then we also have the if, the condition. Okay, so this will only show if cookie.age. I don't know why it took the same, but anyway, we can change it. Okay, if cookie.age is less than 18, if if this is true, then the component will be displayed on the screen. If not, if that's not true, this will disappear from the screen. Okay, so with that we can add logic to add and remove content from the screen. Okay. What else? Well, we can make some component invisible. Okay, this makes sense because then we could have one button here, for example, another image. Use the other one, and we could add an event here on click, and we could do something like this. Set, sorry. And then what? We could do something like this. Element, this is the reference to an element, to a component, dot the ID, which is this one. Copy the ID and put it here. Dot, not here. Sorry, it copied the whole thing. So element dot component dot visible. We can do this and then set to true. Okay, so this is not going to work here on this. This is only visor. Okay, but in the app, when I open this view, it won't show the first icon, but if I click on the second icon, then the first one will become visible. Okay, so we can do some kind of gaming with that, right? So this gets very, very, very cool. Where else? Let's do this. True. Well, if you don't put the visible, it's the same as true. Okay, you can remove it and it's visible. Okay, so you can add more. Today, I don't want to show all the components. Okay, I will do a webinar next week for explaining all the components. But I wanted to show this. You see this button? I'm now in the edit mode. Okay, so I can edit my view. But if you click here, you can change to the short mode in order to short your components. Okay, you can do this and you can switch the order of the images. Or okay, then you have there are some components that are groups. You can create a group, and then for this group you can set orientation horizontal and then add some content. Yeah, some content to the group. I can add another image or a text, I don't know. Okay, I have this. This is a group with an image, but I can make this image like smaller, like 150 density points. So if I want to place another image here on the side, since it's in the same group and this group is horizontal orientation, I can just add another image or a text. Okay, you see? So now I can go to the short mode and it can be very cool. I can take this image and put it here inside this group. And you'll see the image here. Okay, so I can get this text and put it outside. And it will disappear from here and go outside. Okay, so everything is super fast. Okay, now again it's slow in my computer, but it's going to be super fast. You'll see. Okay, so you can rearrange everything on the screen. So you will see it's going to be. By the way, if you move over the mouse, you will see also the one that is selected here and also here. You see it gets green. So this is also very helpful. Even if this one is like this, if you click, yeah, it gets selected. Okay, well, so that is for views. Okay, I don't want to spend more time explaining how to do it. You can just play around and see how you can add things. Okay, so next thing I want to talk about wrappers. So wrappers can be empty and just have an ID. Okay, and a wrapper by default is like a full screen thing. Okay, by default, a wrapper doesn't have graphical elements. Okay, but you can add things to the wrapper. Okay, you click here, you can add an action bar. Okay, and you can then set some properties for this action bar. You can put a back button. You see, it appears and disappears, or you can add, change the background color and select one from the list, or you can add just some RGB value. You put the how is the symbol called? The number symbol? I don't remember. Sorry. But you can put this like if this is an RGB X code. Okay, X how is it called in English? Hexadecimal. Okay, so you can add like 2, 3, X, only X, okay. Or maybe hex or X, I don't know. Okay, so you can use this code. For example, if you know the code, you can just use it here. Okay, and so I can use this, or I can use my predefined colors. Okay, and I would always recommend to use predefined colors, because if I have, or if I want to use this color in a lot of parts of the app, in text or in backgrounds, things like that, okay, maybe in the future I decide to change that color. So if I want to, I have to change it everywhere. It can be a very tough task. Okay, so if I just use one color from here, tomorrow I will be able to add colors here. Okay, it's not working today, but it will be possible. So, okay, so it's always better to just. Oh, by the way, you can click here and select a different color. By the way, or if you want to select some color from the list, just remove this, and then you will see all the options. Okay. Then we can add a color for the text and the icons. Okay. Okay. Or we can add a title. Okay. It will show this title, but if I'm loading a view and that view has a title, okay, the title of the view will be displayed here. So this is the default text in case we don't have a title. Okay. And then I can also add a menu. This is not working in this version. It will work these days, but you can add a menu here on the right, okay, with 3 dots. So if you click there, then a small menu will pop up here, okay, and you will be able to see it. Okay, so here I just need to tell Codeuzer which menu I should use. Okay, and remember I told you at the beginning that menus are just files that define a list of options. Okay, so I would go here to the menus folder and create a new menu and set like action bar menu, for example. Okay, so now I can select it here. Okay, and I can go and edit it. So now I'm editing the menu. So here I just need to add some items to the menu. This is an array, so I can add this option. I can change the ID if I want. Okay, then I can add a menu here, a title for this option. It can be also multi-language, option 1. Then I can add an icon, but let me use some other icons. For example, I can drag and drop this icon. So now you see, now it's here. This is amazing. I can select this icon. I can, no, let me add another one. I mean, it put the new icon here in the rest folder. I just drag and drop it here, and now I can select it here. So the option 2, you see that I'm not seeing any representation because now I'm editing the list of options, okay? But I'm not telling Codeuzer how to show this menu. So I'm not seeing my visor, okay? I'm going to add an icon and let me drag and drop this one. Okay, now it's here. Okay, so I have these two options. I also could add items. So then a menu item can have a sub menu inside. Okay, not everywhere, but for some menus this is valid. But I'm not going to use it right now. Okay, then I can add an event. Okay, so this is what I want the app to do if they click on this option. Okay, I can add like a go to a different view. Okay, for example. Okay, so this is my menu. If I go now back to my wrapper, I can, well, this menu here on the action bar is not working today. I don't know why. It will work very soon. You'll see. Okay, but now this is my action bar. Now I can add a drawer. A drawer is a side menu. Okay, so if I put a drawer, you see that it changed the icon here. So if I click now here, it shows this thing. Okay, but I haven't defined anything inside here, so let's do that. Okay, first thing, I'm going to select the menu. So I'm going to use the one I created. Okay, now you see, boom. Oh, this is a, well, in the app, this is going to show the icon and then the label on the right. Okay, this is something that the programmer has to fix here on the web interface. Okay, but in the app, it's going to show the menu on the right. Then I can add for my drawer, I can add an icon like this one, boom. And I can add a title, my first app. And then I can add a subtitle, super cool app made with Codeuzer. Okay. And this, I think this is using the color primary. If you go to the app and you want to change that, I think, I don't know which color is using. It's supposed to use the primary color, but I don't know why it's using this orange thing. Okay, I will talk with the programmer because let me change this one, but it doesn't make sense. It's just used, I think it normally it uses the primary and makes a gradient to the secondary or the primary dark, I think, which is not here. Is this one. Okay, but anyway, they need to fix these small details. Okay. Yeah, now it worked. Yeah, I changed the orange one. I don't know why they are picking this. This is a bug for the website. Okay. Yeah, basically this is the way I define my thing. So what else can I add to my wrapper? I can add a pager. Okay, and for the pager, I will tell if I want to use tabs. Okay, now if I have a pager, I have to define which views I want. Now I only have this main view, but I can add another view. Just go to views and click on plus and enter a name. Second view, for example. Okay, now I have these two views. Let's add some title like view 2. A wrapper, same wrapper, main wrapper. And the thing is that now, if I'm using a pager, I have to define here, I have to define the wrapper, but I also need to add the second view here. Okay, you see, now I have these two tabs, which is cool. And let me add some image. This one, for example. Okay, so if I go back to the wrapper, I can interact with this. You see? So I just created some cool layout, very, very fast, right? So this is pretty amazing, I think. And what else? Yeah, and I guess that's almost, well, then you can create dialogues here, which are like small views, like privacy policy, for example. Okay. And here you can add content. You can add a web, and here you can add something like, let me see, these terms and conditions for my app, for example. Okay, so I put the URL here, and it should load a dialog here. I don't know. Yeah, I think I have to select positioning. No, by default it's in the middle. I don't know why it's not showing. Maybe it's not loading the website. I think it's here, but don't worry for that. Be aligned, middle. Maybe I need to put this. I don't know why. It should. I saw it working yesterday, but I don't know what I'm missing. But anyway, you can add the dialog like this. You just add the content and title and buttons. Yeah, okay, I needed buttons. I think a positive, a label like accept, and then the action. Okay, like go back, for example, or do something. Okay, and it's show. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know. Maybe the title. I don't know why. It should show the website here. It will work very soon. Okay. Well, and basically this is everything. Okay, here we can add certificates if we want to sign the app with our certificates. Okay, I will talk about that next week. And then the external folder is for adding some extra files like the Firebase configuration file, or maybe in the future we let you add some more files for some products. Okay. Basically, this is the way you create your app. Okay, so once you're finished, what's the next step? Well, you can save it. If you click here, it will download your project. Okay, so you can keep it in your PC, and next time you open it, you open Codeuzer. In case you don't see it here, just upload it. You can click on plus and upload it from your computer. You can just drag and drop it. You can get your file and drop it here. Well, in this case, it's going to this. I opened the project twice. So now I have two projects. Okay, I can switch from projects from here, you see? Yeah, and so that's the next step. You should always save it just in case something happens. Okay, and then the other thing is to export or publish the app. Okay, you can export now. You can only export to APK for Android. Okay, so click here. You get some instructions, and then click on request app. Okay, and here you will see the process. Okay, exporting project and things like that. Okay, now there is some errors. Okay, they need to fix something. It will be ready tomorrow. Okay, the thing is that I'm not sure if I told you that since I have scheduled this webinar, we needed to release Codeuzer today. Okay, but there were some small details missing, but anyway, they will be fixed tomorrow, like this one. Tomorrow you will be able to create your APK file. Okay, you can get this APK, install it on your phone, or use it to publish on Google Play. Okay, you already know that. Well, basically that's all regarding how to create the apps. Okay, next week we will start focusing on these small details. I will do a webinar for, oh, sorry, I don't know what happened. I lost the session. Let me sign in again. I don't know why. Yeah, I have my two projects here. Okay, so I will do a webinar for creating layouts and some other webinar for understanding references, one other webinar for databases. Okay, so the webinar from today was going to be longer because I wanted to talk about everything. And well, I'm not finished yet unless you want to go, but I was going to talk about pricing and all those things. Okay, it should take like 15 extra minutes, something like that. But that's all for today regarding how to create apps, and next week we will talk more. Okay, and I guess you want to ask now, what about the pricing? Okay, can I use Codeuzer for free? Is it very expensive or not? Is it like MovingCube or not? Right? I guess you have that question in mind. Okay. Yes, there is going to be a free version, I guess. Okay, for people that just want to create one app for his birthday, things like that. Okay, so yeah, in that case, we will place ads and we will keep all the money from those ads, things like that. Okay. Uh, yeah, Chiqueto Moving Cube, I think Avanti means that it's still alive and will exist. Okay. Yeah, the thing is, Moving Cube has nothing to do with Codeuzer. Okay. Dojo, I mean the main brand for Codeuzer, Castor.io. This is another company, different than MovingCube. Okay, the thing is that I'm the founder of MovingCube, but last year we had financial problems, so we sold MovingCube to another company. But the thing is that I'm still working for MovingCube, okay, because they wanted me to continue because I have all the know-how. So I stayed at MovingCube working for them, but they knew that I was going to do this other project, okay? But they don't see any incompatibility with that, because the thing is that, I mean, with Codeuzer, you can create things more advanced than MovingCube, okay? It might be better for high-level users or for people that like to play around. But the thing is that that's compatible with MovingCube in terms that, I mean, MovingCube is looking for a different audience. MovingCube is the tool for creating apps easily and very fast for people that are not able to understand what I just did during the last hour, right? I mean, this is not super difficult. I mean, I'm not programming, but you know, it's different. Like in MovingCube, you just drag and drop things, okay? And there are people who should keep dragging and dropping, okay? But then there are people who want to go farther and take some further steps and do things more complicated, like than MovingCube, okay? So they are different companies. I work for both. I mean, I'm one of the co-founders as well. So I'm still doing, I mean, I work like 15 hours a day, something like that. So I spare my time in both companies, but Dojo is my company and Dojo is my real project for the future. Okay, of course, I want to help MovingCube. MovingCube is like my kid. I created MovingCube, so I want MovingCube to be successful, and I will try to do all my efforts to help MovingCube to keep growing. And in fact, MovingCube is growing since November. After this company bought MovingCube, then we started growing again. Okay, MovingCube. We started doing the new interface, finishing it, and doing a lot of things. Okay, because before that, because of the financial problems, we had a lot of problems and we couldn't grow and we couldn't make new things. But since last November, finally MovingCube could go farther again and start working again. Okay. Yeah, but the thing is that Dojo is my future project. Okay, man. The thing is that in the future I will be 100% of time in Dojo in Codeuzer. Okay, so pricing, we will have this free version, and then we will have. Let me show you this PowerPoint. Yeah, you can see it now. Right? It's not a slide. It's on my Chrome, so I guess you can see it. Okay, so well, the thing is that we wanted to do some pricing that people can understand. Okay, so since Codeuzer is part of the Dojo portfolio, we have. Sorry, let me try to understand Italian. Scrivere, grazie. Okay. Per no utente premium in gratis. Sorry, I don't understand you, utente. I guess per no is for us. Premium is in gratis. I'm not sure if I understood that. Regalo per chi ha guardato la presentazione. A present for who has saved the presentation. I'm not sure if I understand understanding what you mean. So yeah, I understand a lot of Italian, I guess, because it's similar to Spanish and Valencian, which is the local language for my region, but not everything, sorry. If you can write in English, maybe it's easier for me. But the thing is that since we have different products, we have Castro.io, we have Codeuzer, we have Dixiebox, okay? We wanted to do the pricing model for Dojo very simple, okay? The thing is that for people using Codeuzer, we wanted to give them Castro.io for free, and some other things, okay? But mixing all the products was very complicated for us to decide pricing, okay? And even only for Codeuzer, it's very complicated to set I mean, we cannot use put some free plans and that's all, right? Because the thing is that since with Codeuzer, you can create Android apps, you can create iOS apps, you will be able to create websites, also PHP scripts and bots and some other things. Getting a price and trying to put all those things in 3 or 4 plans was very complicated. And even for explaining to people how that would work, okay? So, for example, we were wondering, should one company that only needs an Android app pay the same that other company that needs the same app but for Android, iOS, and web, even if it's the same project? So should they pay the same? Or should a company that has 10 Android apps pay more than one that only has 3? Or it was very complicated because we were mixing platforms, we were mixing number of projects. I mean, it was very messy, okay? So we decided to make a pricing our business model based on tokens, or it's like a coin-based business model, okay? So basically, with Dojo, you are going to buy tokens, and then you are going to spend those tokens on different products, okay? Yeah, it will be Dogecoin. I mean, we were thinking of the name Doyen. So we have these 4 plans only for all the products, okay? We were trying to call them Doyen because Dojo and token, okay? But Dogecoin is also good. The thing is that one of my co-founders suggested to call them Doyars, but I think, let me write it. It would be good to know your opinion from an English speaker. I don't really like it because, I don't know, but it was similar for like dollars, but dollars from, I'm not sure. What do you think about it? But well, anyway, the name is not the final name, but let's call them Doyens for now. But the thing is that for Dojo, you are going to pick one subscription, okay? And the first one will be $12 a month. The next one, 24, 60, and 120. Well, if you pay quarterly or yearly, then it's going to be cheaper, okay? Because if you pay yearly, it's going to be 120, which is like 10 months, okay? So you save 2 months, okay? So the thing is, every plan is going to put Dojens in your wallet, okay? The first plan is going to put 1 Dojen in your wallet every month. The second plan, the 3D, is going to put 3 Dojens in your wallet every month. The next one, 10, and the other one, 25 Dojens in your wallet every month. Okay? And what can you do with those Dojens? Then you can spend those Dojens in different products. Okay? And we will have different types of products. We will have standard SaaS products, okay, like Codeuzer, okay? So the price in Dojens will depend on how you are using Codeuzer, okay? So if you have one active Android app, you will spend 1 Dojen every month. If you also have one active iOS app, even if it's the same project, you will spend to an extra doyen. Okay, if you have like 5 Android apps and 2 iOS apps, you will spend 7 doyens a month. Okay. For some other products like Custom.io, now you have 100 gigabytes for free, okay, because we were still offering that for free since we launched it in November, and we couldn't find the time to control the limit, but we will do it, okay. But if you already have a Custom.io account, you will keep your 100 gigabytes in the future, okay. But for new users in the future, they will only have like 1 gigabyte for free. Okay, so if they want to use 1 terabyte, they will need to spend 1 doyen, okay, per month. So let's imagine that we only have this type of products, okay? So now we have this, I said 5 Android apps and 2 iOS apps, okay? So I'm spending 7 doyens a month. So I will need at least to have $7, 7 doyens every month. Okay, so this subscription is not enough. I will need this subscription, okay, the $60 thing. Okay, so this subscription will put 10 doyens in my wallet every month, but I only need 7. Okay, so what happens with these extra 3? The thing is that they will remain in your wallet. Okay, so first month you will get 10 doyens, and then you spend 7. Then you have 3 left. Okay, so next month you get 10 new doyens, but you had 3, so you have 13 next month. Okay, then you spend 7. Then at the end of the month you have 6, right? So every month you are storing 3 extra doyens. Okay, you don't lose them. They will stay in your wallet. Okay, so maybe after 10 months you will have 30 extra doyens. Okay, so you can stop your subscription. Okay, after 10 months, for example, you can stop paying, and you will be able to keep spending 7 doyens for almost 5 months, right? So that's cool, because you are not losing. Now in some other products, you pay more than you use, but you lose that money, right? So in this case, you don't lose your money. You are just getting doyens cheaper, okay? Because if you need 6, instead of buying 3, that would be 48. Then you get 10. So the price per doyen is cheaper. Okay, so you are saving for the future. Okay. So basically that's with the SaaS products. Okay, then we will have volume-based products. Okay, it's not in all the products, but in some products. Okay, for example, as soon as you can create PHP scripts with Codeuzer, well, you will be able to download those scripts and run those scripts in your server. Okay, that will be free for you. But what if you don't have a server and you need us to keep those scripts running and accepting calls from your apps or from any other place? Okay, the thing is that's a cost for us. Okay, if you have an app that makes like 1,000 calls to our servers every day, that's not a lot of money. But if you have an app that makes like 10 million requests to our server every day, that costs us money. Okay, so in that case, for this type of products, we will charge doyens per volume. Okay, we will put packages like, for example, in this example, it will be free for 1,000 app API calls, for example. Maybe it's 1 doyen up to 10,000 API calls per day or per month, I don't know. Then 2 doyens up to 100K, things like that. Okay, this will be volume-based products. Okay, this will consume your doyens in case you use them, of course. Then there will be some conditional products. Okay, these are more difficult to explain, but imagine that you are already having 1 active Android app. Okay, you already are spending 1 doyen per month. Okay, so the conditional products are free in case you are already spending dogens in other products. Okay, so imagine Custom.io. Okay, not you that you already have 100 gigabytes, but few new users, they will have 1 gigabyte for free. Okay, but in case they're already using or spending 1 dogen in other product like Codeuzer, then they will get the premium for Custom.io for free without spending 1 extra dogen. Okay, so these products will be conditional. Okay, if some user is only signing up on Codeuzer because they only want to use Custom.io and they need 1 terabyte, then they will have to pay 1 dogen per month or spend 1 dogen per month. Okay, but if you are already using Codeuzer, a premium version of Codeuzer, then Custom.io will be free. Okay, and then finally we have single purchases. Okay, these are products that you only pay when you use them at that point. Okay, so imagine that in the future we offer like services like we design your app. Okay, you want to use Codeuzer, but you want us to design the app. Okay, then you can pay for that. Or if you want to download the source code of the app, okay, because you are leaving Codeuzer, you want to take your app and start developing it. Okay, then you can pay for downloading the source code of the app. Well, not pay, but spend dogens. Okay. So yeah, basically that's how it works. Okay, I'm not sure if it's easy to understand. I guess it's easier than other SaaS products like MobiCube or others. Okay, and this is the last thing I want to speak of today. Well, we lost Chiqueto. He just left, or maybe well, he was having problems with the connection. I'm not sure if he will be coming back, but we're going to finish very soon. So I just want to talk about the initial Dogen offering. Okay, the thing is that now we launched Codeuzer today. It's going to be in beta version for some months, maybe 3 months, maybe 6, because we have to finish some things. Okay, it's going to be fully functional for creating Android apps from tomorrow. Okay, so you will be able to create your apps, download the APKs, publish them on Google Play. Okay, that's not beta. That is going to be final. Okay, but we want to keep calling beta until we add some subscription control. Okay, because we haven't developed all this Dogen managing system. Okay, so until we have that, it's going to be on beta. Okay, so you can keep using the beta of Codeuzer and start creating Android apps. Okay, so during this beta, we are going to sell dogens, but at a very cheap price. Okay, you saw that the standard price of the dogen is $12. Okay, it can be lower to almost $5 if you have the 25 dogen plan. Okay, so yeah, so the price goes from 5 to 12 per month per dogen. Okay, so now we are having this super offer. We want to start selling dogens. Okay, during this beta period. Okay, so the thing is that we are going to sell dogens. So people owning dogens will be able to use all the services for Codeuzer for free during this beta period. Maybe it's 3 months or maybe 6 months. Okay, so people can buy now dogens, but they won't need to spend them. Okay, so they will keep the dogens until we finish the beta period. Okay, so people can have like 10 Android apps for free without spending dogens. Okay, only if they buy like 5 dogens or 10 at the beginning. Hi, Chiqueto, you're back. Okay, yeah, don't remember when you had this connection problem. Okay, I explained all the pricing. I think you were here. Okay, so I was explaining the last thing of today. Okay, the thing is that we are now in beta period. Okay, the Android thing is not beta. I mean, it will work from tomorrow. From tomorrow, you can start working and creating Android apps. Sorry that I'm repeating this, Sonny, just so that Chiqueto can Understand? So this beta period is going to finish as soon as we finish the Dogen managing system. Okay. Now we haven't developed that to control the Dogen spending, and the subscriptions. Okay, we haven't finished that. We only have finished the Android thing. Okay, so I guess it will take like 3 to 6 months to finish the other things. So during that period, we are going to call it the beta period, or the beta version stage. Okay, it's going to last 3 to 6 months, I guess. Okay, so the thing is that we want to start selling. We're going to start selling Dogens now. It's going to be like a Kickstarter campaign, something like that. Okay, so we are going to start selling Dogens at a very low price. Okay, because if you remember, the price of the Dogen was from $12 a month. Well, $12 one Dogen. To, in this pricing, this is almost like $5 per Dogen. Okay, so the price goes from 5 to 12. Okay, so now we want to start selling Dogens very cheap, like a like a Kickstarter campaign. Okay, so you will save 90%. And the thing is that during this beta period, you don't need to spend the Dogens. Okay, so if you buy 10 or if you buy 100 Dogens now, we will keep those Dogens for you. So after the beta period is over, you will have a balance of 100 Dogens. I mean, the amount that you buy now. Okay, so during this beta period, all the people who have Dogens, I mean, even if they have 5 Dogens, they will be allowed to use Codeuzer for free. I mean, even if they have 100 Android apps, they won't spend Dogens for that. Okay, it's going to be free for Dojo owners during the beta period. Okay, and this is the process for our. I mean, we called it IDO. It's like an ICO for like the cryptocurrencies thing, but this is not cryptocurrencies. Okay, it's only like buying balance. Okay, so people buying Dogens in May, they can pay $1 per Dogen. Okay, €1 if they are in Europe. Okay, plus taxes, in case they need to pay taxes. Okay, so it's only going to be, so for the price of 1 Dogen, you get 10 Dogens. Okay, then after May, we will sell the first 10,000. I mean, regardless, I mean, even if we, sorry. So the first 10,000 starting in June, okay, regardless of how many Dogens we sold in May, okay, the first 10,000 of June will also be $1 per Dogen. Then the next 90,000 will be $2. And then after that, all the other Dogens will be $3. Okay, during this beta period. So after that, they will have normal pricing. Okay, so if people decide to buy now Dogens, they will stay there for the future. Okay, so I guess the good thing of this is that unlike other products, for example, imagine a product like MovingCube. It would be impossible to do a Kickstarter campaign because, I mean, you know that you might like the product and you want to create apps, okay? But you don't really know how many apps you will create in the future, okay? You don't really know if you need a M plan or a plan XL or plan, right? Because you have still not worked on Codeuzer, so you don't know how many apps you are going to make, okay? But the thing is that even if you only have one app in the future, I guess you want to keep that app for months or for 2 years, 3 years, okay? So people buying like 50 Dogens, 100 Dogens, okay? Even if they have in the future only one app, the thing is that they won't need to pay more in the future for that app, okay? Because they will be spending the Dogens that they buy right now, okay? So it's going to be much cheaper, okay? Or if in the future they start creating a lot of apps and they spend like 10 Dogens a month, or imagine like 50 Dogens a month, if okay, if they buy 100 or 200, okay, they will have balance for 4 months, something like that. Okay, so even if you don't know the subscription you need in the future, buying dojins now is going to save a lot of money in the future. Okay, so yeah, so that's all. I'm not sure what you think about all this. We lost Chiqueto again. I guess he's having trouble, but anyway, I guess we're done for today. That's all. Well, I don't know. What do you think? What you saw? Did you like Codeuzer? How do you feel about it? What do you think? It was too complicated, or do you think you can make it work? Or do you find it expensive, cheap? I don't know. If you want to give me feedback, that's great. Thank you. Yeah, we are really happy for that. I mean, yeah, it was a very ambitious project. We wanted to do something very cool, and we expected it to take more months. But after these 7 months, and we were not working full time because we were working also in other projects, and I was working also for MovingCube, and even Dojo was working for MovingCube because they were outsourcing some work. So it took like 7 months and not full time from 3 people. My co-founders for Codeuzer, they are amazing. They are Carlos and Victor, and they are amazing. I mean, they are geniuses. So we did all this together, and we are super happy with the result. Okay, and not only with the result that you can see today. The thing is that we still have a lot of things to do. Okay, in the next weeks you will see much more features coming. Okay, and it's going to be much faster than when we did on MovingCube, because here creating a new functionality, it really doesn't require a lot of work here. Okay, because this is only a JSON. We just need to define which JSON objects we need to accept, and that's all. Okay, we only have to develop those on the phone, and that's all. So we can add functionalities super fast. In one day, we can add functionalities on demand. Okay. Yeah, of course, I foresee a Codeuzer community. I mean, we want to make this super big. Okay, we already have some investors which are very important investors. They put only a small amount of money, seed money, okay, but they work with VCs. So, I mean, if we keep doing good work, it will be easy to get a big round of investment in the future, okay? But the thing is that we want to do this Dogen offering now, okay, because I think this can help us to get money or to cash the company now, okay? So then we won't need to get investors soon, okay? And I think that will be good for the company, because you know, whenever you get investors in the company, then they start taking decisions and you lose some freedom for doing that, okay? So that's why we want to do this Kickstarter campaign, so we can cash the company and start hiring more people, okay? Because now it's only the 3 of us. We are very good. Oh, well, I'm saying me as well, but of course my co-founders are great. I'm doing all this Android thing and the generation thing. They are doing the interface and the backend and everything. But it's very smooth. Everything on the server is super smooth. So it's amazing the work that is behind Codeuzer. So, but the thing is that we need more people to grow faster. Okay, we want to do this website. We want to have iOS compatibility. We want to do PHP scripts, but we also want to improve Castle.io. We want to finish Dixiebox. We want to create a new product for sending push notifications and emails. I mean, we want to do a lot of things, but we cannot do all of that with only 3 people. Okay, we can focus on Codeuzer, but we don't want to abandon other products. Okay, so that's why we need more people. and that's why we think that this Kickstarter thing can help us a lot. Okay. So, well, by the way, I didn't say. Now we are not selling these domains from the website. I guess next week we will do it. Now we are accepting orders via this email address. Okay, sales@dojo.email. Okay, and yeah, and I guess that's all for today, unless you have questions. Anything you want to know about the future? Anything? It was a long webinar today, 2 hours. The Spanish one was 2 hours and a half. It was crazy. Okay, next week they will be shorter. Okay, so is that all then? Should we say goodbye and see you in the next one? Okay, yeah. So let me say the question, because if people are watching YouTube in the future, they won't read the question. So Sonny's saying, I think my question right now is about how the Codeuser logic will keep me from making mistakes. Okay. Yeah, that's a tricky question, because the thing is that we are going to assist you in making the JSON files. Okay, so you are not going to do mistakes like using brackets or commas and things like that. Okay, that's a very easy mistake to do when you are editing JSON files manually. Okay, yeah, but the thing is that if you do something like, for example, you add here some function, like you have this set element dot component something. Okay, imagine that you have some misspelling and you put here without the E. Okay, so now we cannot control that. Okay, so now it's going to be your responsibility to put all the name of the reference right. Okay, so it might be easy to make some mistakes. So the thing is that you will need to publish the app on the phone and see if something happens. Okay, I guess we will start thinking of how we can prevent users from doing this kind of mistakes. Okay, I guess in the future we will set some rules, and before sending to export, I guess we will do some validation of your files and make sure that you don't make mistakes. But even if we do that, it's going to be difficult sometimes. Okay, because the thing is that if you set some cookie dot name value to something, for example, here. Okay, what if you maybe you want to use this name in other place of your app? Okay, but what if here instead of name you make this mistake and you put names? Okay, even if we do some validation, maybe you did in fact want to use a different cookie or a different reference. Okay, maybe you wanted to have name and names. Okay, so it's not always to be possible to control that. Okay, so yeah, practice is going to be very useful. Okay, maybe we do something like having a list of your cookies or all the cookies you have used on your app. So if you see two cookies with a similar name, then maybe you will realize that at some point you are making some mistake. Okay, things like that. But that won't be available in the next month or in 2 months. Okay, I guess we will need to finish first all the other things, and then we will try to do that. Okay. But let me show you. I didn't show you this app. I'm not sure if you saw this app. Okay, or this other app. This is older. I did this app with Codeuzer like in December, I think. Okay, I mean, they are not really complicated, but you can see how you can work with databases. Okay, this one is very simple. I created this last Friday, I think. But if you install this app, you will see how you can move this range, and then this circle will change the size on the screen. Okay, so this is in fact a super cool thing, because, well, this app has a database, a JSON database with the circles on the map. It's only one circle, so this database only has one. But the thing is that that database is listening, I mean, no, this map is listening to the database. So if something happens on the database, the map reacts. So it will place like circles on the map, or it can place also images like cars, for example, and it will be listening to the database. So if you change the position, I mean, every car for an Uber app, for example, can be one entry on the database. So it has the position as one value on the database. Okay. So if you change the position, then it will automatically change the position on the map for that car. Okay, it's going to be super cool. You'll see. So with this app, you can see that kind of thing. Okay. Okay, let me add, there's a question. How can we users best share Codeuzer's launch with others, like on social media? I guess it will be just be the website for Codeuzer. You mean like for promoting or for helping us promote? Yeah, now it's only the website. We have a Twitter channel, but until now it was stopped. I mean, we were not posting anything on Twitter. I guess from tomorrow we will start posting on Twitter. Okay. And I guess we will create the Facebook channel. We still don't have a Facebook one. And yeah, I guess maybe I'm not sure. We haven't decided our thing. Okay. And the thing is that we are going to use an affiliation program. Okay, but it's going to be, we're going to be using something like Rewardful. I think it's called Rewardful. Yeah, this one. Okay, I guess next week we will start selling tokens or dojens inside the website from here. Okay. So once we do that, we will integrate with Rewardful. Okay, so we will accept affiliates. So if you want to promote dojens or Codeuzer, but people then come in and they buy dojens, you will get a commission for that. Okay, but the good thing of using Rewardful is that they already provide the report dashboard and everything. Okay, so we don't have to develop that. So it's going to be very fast. From next week, we can have an affiliation program. So if you start retweeting or promoting things like that, then you can make money with that if people buy dojens. Okay. So any questions? Yeah, I really appreciate you being here. I mean, I know it was a long webinar and you stayed all the time. I know it's hard to listen for 2 hours to someone, but thank you very much for being always here. And I hope, I mean, any questions you have, you can always email me, and I will try to help. Okay, at the beginning, since Codeuzer is going to be a bit difficult to use, I will be here to help. Okay, then in the future we will have a community so users can help each other, something like Stack Overflow or something like that. Okay, so yeah, I guess that's all for today. Let's call it a night. And yeah, thank you for being here, and thank you for the people on YouTube watching the video. And I will see you on the next one. Okay, bye.